Hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Prim. I'm the Communications Coordinator for the City of Montpelier, and I'm here today with Director of Public Works, Kurt Motyka. And Kurt is going to run through the FY25 budget for the General Fund in DPW. So we will share our slides and get right to it. All right, take it away, Kurt.
All right, thanks, Evelyn. So the General Fund in Public Works is made up of the fleet, which is our equipment, and streets, and it also includes engineering and administrative functions. Just as an overview of the presentation for today, we're going to talk about the introduction and the team that makes up the General Fund, core functions, services and constraints, the budget, challenges and opportunities, community and strategic plan contribution, and what's next. So the org chart for this fund, the General Fund, is made up of myself, the Director of Public Works, the Deputy Director. We have 2 technical staff members, 1 administrative staff member, and currently we have 1 vacant engineering position. In our streets division, we have 1 supervisor, 9.5 employees. That half is shared with the cemetery, and 2 vacant positions currently. And then in the equipment division, we have 1 supervisor and 3 mechanics. So core services for the General Fund portion of Public Works includes compliance with municipal permits, street maintenance, and managing the paving program. This year, its flood recovery has really become a core service. It's not something we would normally have in here, but it really has become a new core service as we really need to recover from these most recent disaster in order to move forward. Also includes winter maintenance, equipment maintenance, environmental stewardship, which includes street sweeping and catch basin cleaning, trash removal, project development and infrastructure improvements, as well as support for external organizations, which includes things like parades and downtown events, 4th of July, and the downtown amenities, such as benches and flower barrels. Some of the services and constraints, really the biggest cut for Public Works this year that's proposed is 1 streets employee. And some of the impacts associated with that include staff to support the community events that I just mentioned. We also could have an impact on the capital improvement side of the budget. So our staff is commonly used to support infrastructure improvement projects, in particular paving projects. When we do paving on streets, there's a lot of work that associated with adjusting the structures, the manholes, and the catch basin elevations. It's a really expensive component of those projects. And so we use our staff to do that work and keep it out of the paving contract in order to sort of stretch the dollar in the capital plan. We also do a lot of construction in-house. And this year we're looking at potentially reimbursable flood repair projects. So the less staff we have available, the less we can do in-house. And there's an opportunity there for getting FEMA funding for some of the staff time associated with those repairs. And the other big impact is that when we don't have enough staff to do winter maintenance, we have to draw from other divisions. So we have separately funded water sewer division that really has to support the plowing operations and snow removal operations in order to maintain the level of service. And the risk there is that if we have a large storm and a large snowstorm and then a water leak concurrently, we may not just have enough staff to get everything done. So that's really my biggest concern about staffing cuts. So an overview of our expenditures. This is for building operations, and in FY25, we're proposing a budget of $426,000. This is down a little bit from previous years. So this slide is an expenditure summary for the building operations, and our current budget is $426,000. This slide gives an overview of the DPW fleet budget, and we're currently proposing an $847,000 budget in this fund. Finally, the largest portion of the general fund budget for Public Works is our streets division, and this includes winter maintenance, and as well as summer projects, funding that staff. And that budget is $2 million, just over $2 million. Some of the challenges and opportunities associated with this budget. The primary challenge I mentioned is the staff reduction. And we are really planning to backfill that with support from our other divisions, as well as other departments. We have gotten support from the rec department to help with winter operations, and we're currently in discussions with the parks department as well, and plan to get one of their staff members trained up this winter. Another challenge is trash removal after the flood. A lot of the receptacles around town were displaced from the floodwaters, and we canceled our service contract for that work. And since then, DPW has been assuming responsibilities of the downtown trash removal. So we have some work to do on that. We really need to have some sort of on-call system, because oftentimes the receptacles will fill up, at a rapid level when it's not anticipated. So a regular schedule doesn't always work out. So we need to refine that process a little better. And then another challenge is the aging equipment. So where we're not able to follow our equipment plan and replace all the equipment that we would have liked in the capital improvements budget. So that puts more pressure on our equipment division to make more repairs, and potentially has an impact on that operational budget as you need more parts to maintain older equipment. Infrastructure needs is an additional challenge. We do have good funding this year proposed in the paving plan, but it's not quite enough for a steady state. And really there has been very little funding recently in stormwater improvements. So we are in the process of developing a stormwater utility, and that fund will be based on how much contribution individual properties have in stormwater runoff. And so that's sort of the bigger impact you have to runoff, the more that property would be responsible to pay for stormwater improvements. So that will allow us to have a dedicated fund to replace stormwater pipes, as well as do stormwater quality improvements. That's sort of a separate bucket of money, where currently stormwater is really underfunded. And then finally is we're evaluating alternatives for salt reduction. And there are equipment investments needed for that. So we're looking into a way to incorporate brine into our operations, and as well as different plow blade options, and that clean up the road better where there's rutting in order to reduce the necessary salt application rates. As well, and last is temperature sensors, so we can determine when it's best to use brine application as opposed to a typical road salt. And how this fund ties into the strategic goals laid out by council. The first is build and maintain sustainable infrastructure. So our staff does a lot of in-house support for paving projects. Like I mentioned, manhole and catch basin structure adjustments. That helps us to spend more money on the actual paving. Also, our street staff is really, really good, frankly, at prepping sidewalks for improvements. Sidewalk is really expensive. So what we do is remove the old sidewalk. We prep the sub-base material, sometimes replace curb, and then we sub out just the actual pouring of the concrete. So it's a much more cost-effective method rather than contracting all of that out. Additionally, we have a small asphalt sidewalk paver, and we do that work in-house. It takes most of the entire division to do the operation, because you need trucking and handwork and someone to run the actual paver, but we can really save a lot of money by doing sidewalk work with our own staff. And then finally is in-house engineering, design and inspection. We have a good solid technical staff in public works. We're able to do our own design work, and then typically construction inspection is a very costly service to purchase or to contract, because it's just the number of hours. It takes a lot of time to rebuild things, and takes a lot of time to perform adequate inspection to make sure those are constructed correctly. And then the other strategic goal that this ties into is rebuild and plan for future resilience in the face of climate change, and practice good environmental stewardship. So items we're doing related to this include the flood cleanup and restoration projects. So we've done several stormwater culvert replacement projects that we've bid out with our engineering staff, but we've also done stabilization work with our own crews. There's been a few slides that have come up, stormwater sinkholes that we've repaired, and a lot of ditching work to get water back to where it needs to be. And then on the environmental stewardship side, our staff does street sweeping and catch basin cleaning, which is part of our permit compliance.
Right, thank you so much, Kurt. So if you have any questions about the DPW budget, you can reach out to Kurt at his email there on the screen. You can also contact the department using the contact info on our website. And so just to outline a brief timeline for the budget process. So we have 2 public hearings coming up in January, one on the 10th and on the 24th. And then the city council needs to make a decision for the budget that will appear on the town meeting day ballot. And so that decision happens on the 25th of January. And then the community gets to vote on the budget on town meeting day in March 5th. So definitely check out the other DPW videos that are in this playlist, and in addition to all the other departments as well. So thanks again, Kurt, for being here and for watching.